Hi everyone, Coach Cindy here from Lolo Training, and I'm here with a special guest, Jennifer. Jennifer did well. She started off with a 12-week one-to-one coaching, and then extended it further because you have to go through coaching for all the seasons and all the reasons. And she's going to get into that today. So, Jen, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
I know she's a little nervous about today, so we're going to take it easy here. Um, okay, so Jen, I guess just let everybody know like who is Jen?
Jennifer is a 50-year-old woman. I'm a mom of two children and a grandma of two grandchildren. I work full time and yeah, that's me in a nutshell.
Mary.
I'm married, yes.
More recently, right?
Yes, we've been married for 5 years.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I love that you highlighted first that you're 50 because it goes against one, you can lose weight after 50, two, you can feel better, even though you have hormonal changes there. And I like that you highlighted like, hey, I got kids and I got grandkids, so I got all of the busy things that are happening in life plus a career. So I guess tell everybody like what was going on before you're like, okay, you and I jumped on a call to explore if coaching was a good fit. What was going on that made you want to jump on that call?
Well, I was lost. I was looking for something. At first, my past, it was a quick fix. I have tried many things, Weight Watchers, keto. I did that HCG diet, and nothing was working. And it was getting to the point where I was just so frustrated with myself, and I just didn't know. And was kind of thinking I'm settling in my mind, but I knew that there was something that could be done. And I came across you.
Yeah.
And we met, and a light bulb went off.
Yeah, talk about the light bulb.
I was very intrigued with what you had to say, and I needed more information. And as we continued, when I did accept the coaching, it was just like it was simplified for me. And I was like, this is too good to be true. It can't be that easy.
Hmm. Yeah. No, it was, I mean, I get it. Like when you have somebody kind of creating the plan for you, and then it's not like a 360 change all on day one, it's kind of progressive. I get the easy part, but it wasn't always easy. Like there were different moments within your journey where we were met with some hard. Before we get into those, it's like, okay, physically like describe like pre-coaching, like where were you what were you physically feeling? And then we can maybe explore mentally and emotionally too, because you tried many different things. And I think that's going to resonate with a lot of women where they're like, they too have tried many different things and they think it's just nothing works. So I guess describe where you were feeling physically, mentally, and even emotionally.
Well, mentally, how I was feeling is if I didn't feel my foods, if I wasn't restricting my foods, then it wasn't working. Physically, getting up in the morning and my hips would be aching, my feet hurt, night sweats, not sleeping well, just not happy in my body, like feeling very uncomfortable, bloated, just not happy.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So then I guess one of the things that happens when I get on that call with women, I kind of get like dig deeper into like what they've tried in the past and where they are now and where they want to be. There's a lot of fears or doubts that come up around coaching, around trying one more thing and trying so talk a little bit about like the fears and doubts that you had.
Well, I remember when we first started the 12-week, and when you're cutting out those five things, that scared me at first because I was like feeling, okay, I'm back to restricting again. But you reassured me that no, we're going to be reintroducing those things back in. So I was like, okay. But my mindset at that point was like, felt very weird. But the outcome after that was like amazing. Like I just right away, the change in how I felt. The aches disappeared. I was sleeping very well. And I was like, wow, this is
Yeah.
working.
Yeah. So just for those that are listening, the first 10 days we really focus on the gut, getting the gut on board with what we're doing. So it is a little bit more restrictive. And when she talks about the five foods, there's like a three-pronged strategy that we use. And then afterwards we kind of go into like, okay, what's this going to look like for life? Now let's go with that though, because a couple of the things that are, I guess, like what a lot of women are not used to doing is telling their coach that they're eating the cookie or the cake or that they're having that glass of wine or what have you, or that they overate. That's all new. And this is what we're doing when we're coaching. So as we introduced stuff back, then we got to like the sugar part where you're like, okay, now you got to tell your coach that you're going to have some, and then we got to work through what are the thoughts and feelings. Can you kind of describe, because that was new for you. So that's not something that Weight Watchers or all those other diets did. So can you like talk about that?
Um, well, I remember the first time I told you, yes, you asked lots of questions and I wasn't used to that, but it got me thinking, why did I have it? And the first couple of times it was due to, a bad day at work or just feeling stressful or being alone. But then when you talk about eating it mindfully and slowly, then that was a whole different story. And then the guilt wasn't there. I remember, I don't know if you remember this, the French fries story,
Mhm.
where I wasn't having French fries. And you're like, well, why are you not having the French fries? And I was like, because I'm not supposed to have the French fries. And you're like, well, why not? Have some, have a few. So I remember I did that and it felt great. It felt like, okay, yeah, I can have those French fries. And I ate them mindfully and I only had like a handful and I was satisfied.
Mhm.
And I was like, okay,
Yeah.
this is good.
Yeah, that's a huge hurdle, right? To get
Yeah,
over because you think French fries don't belong on a plan when you want to be healthy or lose weight. And then to then be like, have somebody say, have them. And then to be like, now I have to eat them slow. Cause usually you eat those foods really fast and then you're like, okay, move on. So that was all counter, like, I guess, intuitive to what you had been doing before. One of the big shifts for you, so you learned about nutrition. First of all, let's go back. You learned about nutrition. So, what did you learn about nutrition that you weren't necessarily nailing with all the other things that you had done?
focusing on the protein, getting my protein in for the day, and breakfast was a huge thing because I normally was not eating breakfast in the morning, but it made sense when you said, "Well, do you snack a lot at night?" And yes, that's when I struggled, was mostly at nighttime. And so when I started having breakfast, and it was nothing big, just something small, it helped. It helped with hitting my protein goal for the day, and it helped for evening as well.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. One of the biggest shifts was the mindset pieces. And one, I like to go there because one, it's like, what is mindset? And everybody kind of experiences it a bit differently. Two is when you've tried a lot of different things, generally they don't have the mindset pieces. And three, there is this mindset of I'll lose the weight, then I'll worry about mindset. And so when we're coaching together, we're kind of looking at, mindset as we're doing it. So one of the things that you had said is like mindset was like you had a lot of garbage in your head. There was a lot of confusion and you felt lost. And you part of that was one, you said social media. You were in there and you're just like, now I don't know what to do. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, I think social media is a huge problem when you're trying to figure something out. Because yeah, it just you're looking and you're seeing everything, and it's hard to think, okay, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
And then lost, and then just say, forget it. I'm not going to do anything because nothing works anyway. So just that frustration for that mindset. Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. And I guess like when you and I worked together, you had the opportunity to ask questions, right? And then it was like,
mm,
well, this would work if it was this, but not if it was this, or
right.
and then you kind of like, oh, okay, now I understand why that post doesn't make sense for me. And then the other part was we got to a point in your coaching journey where it was like this block all of the time. The block came from not feeling good enough or not feeling worthy. It came from a mindset block. And we figured out kind of the root cause had to do with your dad. Can you talk about like you were doing all of the things, but it always felt like this, and then kind of how it was connected to your dad?
So, I lost my dad at a very young age. I was 12 years old. And so I always felt lost from that point, my lack of security. So my food was my security. So that would be my go-to thing anytime any emotion came up. So I uncovered, it was kind of like a breaking point when we were chatting, and go to something else and then do it in honor of my dad. So we decided on reading because I did like to read. And I used to go to the library as a kid with my dad. So that was kind of like a warm, fuzzy feeling for me. So that was my go to anytime I was having an emotional need, to do that and go to that for my need.
Yeah. And it took us a little bit to get to the root cause, right? Because it got to the point is why do I keep doing this? And then, I would ask the questions, you would go away and you would journal and you would think about them, or maybe you'd tell me to fuck off. I'm not really sure. And then it was like, wait a minute, this is what's underneath that here. And then there was a huge turning point once you made that connection and you started honoring your dad in a different way. There was this huge shift. It was kind of like growth, and then there was another growth, and then it was like all of a sudden it was a huge step forward after that.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. One of the other things that we talked about too was having difficult conversations with yourself, difficult conversations with your partner, and difficult conversations with other members at home. When we had the first meeting, when we had the first call, and we kind of went through like, okay, coaching seems like it's a good fit, you're ready. And then I guess there was this part of you that was holding back from your partner on all of the deep-seated stuff. All he saw was lose weight, and but really he didn't understand how deeply rooted it was for you, that it wasn't just weight. There was a whole other thing attached to that. So we kind of set a goal of like having hard conversations. So every time something came up, we were like, "Hey, what's the hard conversation you have to have with yourself or someone else?" So she's smiling. Can you talk about that kind of habit or that mindset skill and what that meant for you in your health and fitness journey?
That that definitely was something very difficult for me because as a child, I never knew how to express my feelings and talk about them. And I don't know why. I think it's probably losing my dad, and everybody kind of went their own ways. So it was hard for me to to express things. So having that difficult, it wasn't a difficult conversation because it was difficult for me, not difficult to necessarily talk about it. It felt so good, and it was just like a release off my chest. And it was like, wow.
Yeah, yeah.
It was a great, it was like a definitely a wow moment.
And it made you and Brian feel a little like more
Mm,
connected after that.
yeah.
But that wasn't the only thing. There was comments that were made in your journey that we then had to like, you were very good at expressing like, it didn't make me feel good. It made me want to turn to food. And then you and I got to process what would you like to say to that person? Okay, when are you going to do it? So that was a hard one for you.
Yes, I definitely procrastinated a little bit on that one.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it did happen, and it it felt good, and she didn't realize it, my mom didn't realize that she had made me feel that way.
Yeah.
It just, so it was a good conversation for sure.
Yeah. And then the other one was around coworkers too, like food pressure, and then your need to please.
Yes. So just being able to say no thank you to something when it's offered to you and you don't necessarily want it, just feeling my thought process was, oh, she's saying no to it because she's trying to lose weight. And I didn't, I always cared what people think, but I'm at a point now where I don't care anymore.
Yeah. I mean, maybe you still care a little bit,
A
but
little bit,
the
yes.
weight it used to carry is
Yeah,
definitely less of a weight now. Like
yeah.
you can put it down. So we did practice how to say no. There was this one time, I can't remember what work function it was, but you're like, oh, I ate the thing when I was like, I didn't even want it. And so then you and I kind of like, okay, let's work it backwards, right? What would you have liked to have said? What would you like to have done? And then from there, that's when we kind of practice moving forward every time it came up.
Yeah, it was more, I felt like I needed to explain why I was saying no to it, but just saying no, thank you is enough. I
Yeah.
don't need to explain why.
Yeah. Yeah. So then I guess like for the women that are listening to this, right, it really highlights like how the mindset is related to your health and fitness journey. And was that like the most surprising thing for you was like, because I'm guessing like from your previous experience trying to lose weight, that wasn't a part of it. What was, I guess my question is, what was the most surprising part for you?
For the coaching,
Or
eh,
what you learned about yourself, or what it was like, holy shit, if I had known that all these other times I had tried, I'd be here already.
right. I definitely would say probably the mindset piece is something because I didn't realize that the nutrition and the mindset went in together. For me, it was just focusing on losing the weight. Don't worry about what's going on in your head. But the two definitely go together for sure.
Yeah. Now, just because we spent a lot of time talking about mindset and nutrition, I guess there's a lot of women who are like, I want to work out, but I'm not motivated. I don't have time. You know, you're juggling two kids, grandkids, a career, a new marriage. So it's like, what did exercise look for you that you're like, this is what it needed to be to meet me where I'm at and to lose the weight?
Well, one thing that stuck with me when I told you I was struggling with the exercising was to set an alarm for 5 minutes and negotiate with yourself for 5 minutes. You have 5 minutes to figure out what you're going to do. And that worked for me. That was because, yeah, I was already up before the alarm went off because I didn't want the alarm to go off and just got my butt going.
Yeah. Yeah. And was it different? Because like you weren't spending hours and hours.
No, not at all. Like 30 minutes to 40 minutes a day working out.
Yeah.
And it goes by very fast.
Yeah. Yeah. And you saw yourself get stronger.
Yes.
How did you get stronger?
How did I get stronger? Working out, lifting weights, um, um, increasing my weights, pushing myself, doing that extra rep,
Yeah.
lifting heavier.
Yeah. I love it because I just had two conversations last week where women have been lifting the same weight for the last 2 years. And so they sweat, they work out every day, but they're like, I'm not getting stronger. I'm not seeing like I'm not progressing. But they've stayed relatively within 5 pounds of the same weight for the last 2 years. And so I like that you highlighted like, no, I was getting heavier. Like, that and that was something I was like, okay, how much weight did you lift last time you did this? And then we would work on, okay, this is what you need to be at for this.
Right.
Yeah. I guess what do you feel like you've highlighted like so well, you've highlighted like the mindset aspects, the nutrition and the exercise, but like what changed for you the most, like physically, mentally, or emotionally? Like what was the big like oh
Definitely the way I feel when I get up in the morning. No aches. That was a huge thing. Sleeping wonderfully, like not getting up through the night. Just being able to get out of bed and, oh, my hips don't hurt. My feet don't hurt. What?
yeah.
What is going on here?
It's witchery.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, okay, so we were just set up to do 12 weeks of coaching. And then when we had our last call, you kind of said, "Hey, I want to do this on my own." And I always give people a little bit of a buffer time where it's like you're kind of in the coaching platform, but we're not doing things the way that they were, just to kind of see what comes up as you start to move out on your own. And so you were in that kind of place of limbo, and in between. And so I guess what I'm getting at is like one, we had an overeating emotional episode there. And so can you talk about like where is like one, I felt like I could go on my own. Then you had that emotional eating episode, which led into us coaching together for another 6 months. So just talk about that little in between spot where you're like, I got it.
I do believe this was like only one day, was it not?
Yes,
Yeah,
it was.
yeah. Um, so maybe for me it was a loss, right? I had in my head that I lost you. So I went to emotional eating and realized, yes, I'm not done with you yet. I needed you still.
Yeah, and I love highlighting that part, only because one, um I believe like coaching, like when you do the mindset pieces, like then I guess it changes not just what you do, it changes who you are. But then the longer you go through coaching together, then you go through more seasons and more reasons. We wouldn't have gone through the depth of what we did with discovering your dad or having those hard conversations or setting those, we wouldn't have got to all those places in 12 weeks, because in 12 weeks we were really focusing on learning the nutrition, the basics of mindset,
Right.
why you eat. And so it really allowed us to do a lot more in-depth work, staying longer. So I know that it was just one day. And we talked about like self-sabotage, and we talked about all that. And then you and I got back on a call to talk about, okay, well, what do we do from here? One, I didn't want to highlight it as like a failure. I wanted to highlight it as like that was what needed to happen in order for us to get to those other places. Would you agree?
I would definitely agree. Yes.
So,
Yeah.
what was the point in the coaching journey where you felt like this is actually working? Like, this isn't like the other times, this is actually working.
I remember it very clearly, and I believe it was during the 12 weeks. It was the Friday, and it was my progress report day. And I weighed myself on the scale, and I didn't feel like I was missing out on anything, like food wise. And I was losing weight, and I was like, what? This makes no sense to me, but it's working. And I'm happy, and I'm not feeling deprived. And yeah, it was like, wow, finally something.
Yeah, yeah. What are you most proud of?
Sticking through with it, um, and the success that I've had mindset wise and nutrition and exercise.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Um, what would you say to the woman who's listening to this who says, like, I don't have enough time, I always fall off the wagon, I'm just not motivated, I want to, but I can't do it, has all of those kind of fears and doubts? What do you say to her?
Well, I had all of those fears and doubts when I first started with you as well, but you, when you are not feeling good in your body, there's definitely a reason why, and you have to uncover it. Um, Take time for yourself, that you're worth it.
Yeah.
You're worth to have that time to feel better.
Yeah. Would you say it's also worth it to like Brian and your mom and your grandkids and your like, do you show up differently? Was that unexpected?
Yes. Remember what I told you, Brian said? You're nicer.
Yeah. And I think that that's a great one to highlight too, is because this can feel like this is me and the whole rest of the world is happening over there. But what you don't really realize is like when you feel better about yourself, how you feel in your body, mentally and emotionally, then you have different energy to give to those around you and you show up differently.
Yes.
You're agreeing.
Yes.
What do you feel that if you could go back to yourself like 8 months ago or 9 months ago, what would you tell that version of Jen then that she didn't understand that she understands now?
Hmm. I would say I would tell her that I don't know.
What would you tell a woman who felt the way you did 9 months ago that she's not understanding that you now understand?
That to figure out the nutrition piece, it's not as hard as what you think it is. It's very simple when you break it down. That and then everything else, the mindset. The mindset is a big piece, I think, because you're telling yourself all these lies. I'm not worth it. I never go through with anything, but it's not difficult. It's it is simplified easily. You simplify it easily.
Mm. What does self-care mean, or taking care of yourself or self-care, what does it mean to you now as opposed to before?
Well, I don't I don't really look at self-care just for even just for myself. I think about everybody else around me too. Like I
Tell me.
want I want to be able to do things, move, get on the floor for my grandchildren, do activities with my grandchildren. And I probably couldn't have done that prior to my coaching because I was in so much pain.
Mhm. Yeah. Any last final words that you would give to the women that's listening to this?
Well, if you're searching for something that is not complicated, definitely check it out. Check out Cindy.
Don't forget, Cindy asks hard questions though, so it can be complicated.
Yes.
Be prepared for those questions.
And you don't sugarcoat anything.
Yeah, I don't.
No,
I'm
you're
not
real. You're the
not
real deal.
not sure why you would pay somebody to sugarcoat it.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thanks so much, Jennifer. I always appreciate when women will come on and show I guess show up, but also share their story because I think like you wouldn't believe how many people reach out to me in private message and be like, was she talking about me? Like, is she in my head? Like, it'll always hit home for some women who then private message me to tell me, thanks so much. So I truly appreciate you sharing your journey, showing up for yourself, and I'm your biggest cheerleader. So, so thank you.
Thank you.